yang tapi bias tetap profesional, tapi yang mau panik yang bagi ubat sebagai aneh.
Halo.
Halo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Excellency, our speakers, and good morning to all of our participants this morning. Okay, before we start, make sure all of the participants switch off the audio, please. Okay, it's done. All right, welcome to our webinar today, organized by Tajwid Bahasa Inggris and Curug in collaboration with some institution and also university. With me, Nastiti Handayani, MPD, as your moderator today. And I'm not alone here. We have two operators, Mr. Isan and also Mrs. Eka, here with us. Thank you for your hard work in organizing this webinar. Okay, before we go ahead, let me remind you about the instruction in this webinar. First is about time. 5 minutes for all of participants if you still want to log in. And then for presenter, we provide 5 minutes for presentation and also 5 minutes for question and answer session and 5 minutes for close the webinar. Okay, another important consideration is once more, we need all of the participants to switch off the audio. And then please tell us your attendance by typing your name in the group chat, in the chat group, I mean. And also another important, make sure that all information that you have already written in your registration form are correct, because we are going to share the e-certificate via email. More importantly, a certificate will be provided to all participants who attend this webinar until the end. Okay, now let us know who is our speaker. Yes. In this first section, we have Dr. Syafryadin, MPD. He is a lecturer from University of Bengkulu. He's going to talk about how to publish paper into journal. Very nice and also interesting topic. So please welcome Mr. Syafryadin, MPD. Dr. Syafryadin, MPD.
Okay, hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Who's voice, please? Yes, please, Mr.
Okay. Is it start from now?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning, all the participants. And salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. So today I'm so very delightful and thankful to HMPS TBI and also of course Tajwid Bahasa Inggris who has organized this event. And today is my part, or could you share my PowerPoint? Okay, today my part is about how to publish a paper into a journal. So this is very interesting topic because next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hello, next slide, please. Okay, so because publishing a paper, the previous one, please, the previous one. Okay, the previous, not the next, previous. Okay, because publishing a paper, it's no, the previous one. Yes, it is obligation for the S1, S2, and S3 students. I mean, undergraduate and postgraduate students, lecturers, and even the teachers to upgrade their level. So here, whether it is obligations for the students before and after the examination, but for the S1, several universities have a policy before doing the final paper examinations, and several have the policy to publish a paper before the after the final paper examinations. But for S2 and S3, of course, before the students do thesis and dissertation examination. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so in publishing a paper, of course, you must have an article, you must have a paper. So how can you publish a paper if you don't have a paper? So start from now, if you don't have paper, please write an article or paper. If you can write by yourself, of course, you can collaborate with your friends. So if you do collaborations, I mean research collaboration or paper collaboration with other friends or another friend, so it will make you easy to write the paper. You can share the idea and you can write together. Next slide, please. So here, in publishing a paper or article, you must prepare your article. So in preparing the article, the first, you must have a good article. I mean, the good article contain good abstract, good introductions, literature review, method, findings or results and discussions, and the conclusion or suggestion or implication, and of course the references. And after you prepare the good article, you must proofread your article, and you have to check the plagiarism. So, however, in preparing a good article to publish in a journal, so several journals make the literature review is integrated into introduction. So it depends on the journal itself. Next slide, please. Let me explain you one by one. So for the abstract, of course, your abstract must represent the content of the article. It includes short background, objective, okay, continue method, result and findings and conclusion, of course. But several journals have their template. So sometimes they do not put the short background and conclusion. For the introduction, surely, of course, you have to start from the problems, gap or novelty, and gap or novelty. It can be got by literature review. I mean, the previous studies or theory or the relevant studies. And of course, don't forget to write down the importance of your research and research objective. And for the research method, so here, you must write the clear design, whether it is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method, quantitative and qualitative, and R&D. So it depends on your research. And of course, you have to write the population example, sampling technique, data collection or instruments, and data analysis. So here, data analysis is very important. It depends on your research design. You can analyze qualitatively or quantitatively. And the next slide, I will give you the example. Next slide, please. Okay, here I give the example. I took the article from IJAL, Indonesian Journal of Applied Linguistics. This journal is very, very good because in Indonesia, this is the best journal because this journal is categorized as a Scopus in Q2 and Sinta 1, of course. So this article is very new. This article was published in January 2020. So the author is my lecturer. So here is the title. TOEFL teachers perceive language proficiency and teaching effectiveness. So here in abstract, you can see that the authors try to begin their writing by showing the short background, and after that there is a research objective, and after that data collection, data analysis, and the results are of course are the findings, and after that conclusion. So I think this is a good abstract. But several journals, sometimes their template doesn't provide the short background and the conclusion. It is optional for them. But I think you have to follow the structure of this abstract. And the next slide, please. Okay, here for the next slide, for the introduction, the main point you're in introduction, of course, there must be a problem. You combine with the literature review and the relevant studies, so it can show the gap or the novelty in your research. It's like in this example of the introduction. And at the end of the introduction, there will be here. This is I cut because I cannot display all the introduction here because it takes many slides. So the importance of the research. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, here, this is one of the examples of the journal where the journal do not provide the literature review part. The special literature review part. So they jump to the method. After the introduction, they jump to the method. Because according to this journal, so this journal template, the literature review is integrated in introduction. For the method, of course, you have to write the clear design. For example, in this article, the design is a mixed meta design with employ the sequential explanatory research design. It's one of the mixed meta design. And after that, there will be instruments, that's analysis, because this used, mixed method, of course, there are two for qualitative and quantitative. Of course, for the quantitative, you can use, statistical calculation or SPSS. And for the qualitative, you can try to analyze your data maybe by using thematic analysis or coding, something like that. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So for the results and the findings, just so simple. Your results or your findings can show the answer of the research questions. Of course, based on the instruments that you have gathered the data. And you have to show the clear data analysis and clear description. If you have a table, you don't only just show the table, but you have to describe the table itself. And after that, you discuss the clear results. You compare and contrast the findings, and you confirm with the theory and the previous studies. Here is the example. Next slide, please. So here, because there are two research questions in that paper, so there are 2 points too in findings. So the first is the relation, and the second part is the perception. So the readers can clearly see that there are two points here that is the answers of the research questions. So I'm so sorry because I just cut the findings because it takes many slides if I have to put all the findings here. So I just take for the examples. And next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, for discussion, it's MS. So it is related to the findings. So in discussion, there are 2 points here also. But the difference, of course, you have to correlate with the previous studies and also the theory that you have mentioned in your literature review. So it is very clear. So as the readers, you can try to see that, oh, this discussion is good because discussion can discuss the findings and confirm with the theory. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next. Okay, the next part is the conclusion. So don't try to write down many conclusions in your article to publish in a journal. So you have to refer to the research objectives. And for the reference, of course, you have to follow the journal's rule. But most of the journals in Indonesia and overseas, of course, use APA. Or you can use other reference styles. It based on the journal itself. Next slide, please. So here is the conclusion. The writers doesn't do not only conclude based on the research objectives, but also at the last paragraph they also write down the implication. So the implication is the optional, but the main point is the conclusion of your research itself. And next, please. So for the references, sorry, because this is in slideshow, I cannot show the full paper. It's not like this. So this is only the part of the references. So here there are 40 or more references in this journal, but right now, because this is APA, but here you have to follow the APA new edition. Right now, it's not the sixth edition, but it is the seventh edition. There will be a little bit difference between the sixth editions and the seventh edition. Let me give you an example. But this is not according to the seventh edition. This is on the sixth edition. Let me give you an example. When you try to write down the references in seventh edition, for example, the book. So the name of the city must be deleted. It's only difference between book in seventh edition and the sixth edition. Next slide, please. So after you prepare your article, you can do proofreading and you can check the plagiarism. So the proofreading, right now you can use the application Grammarly, but right now, if you want to buy Grammarly, if you search in the internet and you download, there is only a trial. Itu biasanya, so I combine with Indonesian, sorry. So, they check the Grammarly, it's not quite detailed. But right now, there are some institution person or organization who sell Grammarly that quite that give you the clearly checked of your article. So if I'm not mistaken, the price is about 1 billion for promo. Right now there is a promo harganya sekitar 1 juta. Tapi harga sebenarnya itu 3 juta per tahun. So maybe you can try collaborate with your friends to pay to buy this Grammarly. Or you can ask your friends if you have a friends with the qualified ability as a proofreader. Of course, you can ask them to proofread your article. Next. Next slide, please. Okay, for the plagiarism. So in publishing a journal, make sure that your article must be under 20%. So when I submit my article in Scopus, so my paper is, under 20% the plagiarism. So here you can use plagiarism checker and Turnitin. But again and again, this is not free. Ini tidak gratis. So you have to buy. Maybe the institutions, or you can buy from another friend. And the price is not Turnitin. The price of the Turnitin is not cheap. Next slide, please. So after you prepare your article, you have write the article, you have do proofreading, you have done the plagiarism checker, and after that you choose an appropriate journal. Which one is good for your article? You can check the scope of the journal, whether it is national or international. Next slide. Okay, for the national journal, you can search, in sinta.ristekbrin.go.id. So here, the web, of course, provides all the types of the journal. Next slide, please. Okay, you can click here. And after that, you can search resources, the journals. Next, please. And after that, there will be S1, S2, Sinta 1, Sinta 2, Sinta 3, Sinta 4, Sinta 6, until Sinta 6. So here, you can type you can click the S1 for the S1 journal. So here, if you think S1 and S2, I mean, have a high quality journal. S3 and S4 is in medium. S5 and S6 is in the low, yeah, or in low quality. But at least S5, Sinta 5, and Sinta 6 is better than non-accredited journal. So all of these journals are accredited by Sinta. So if you think that your article is very good, I mean, it's something new, so you must submit it in S1 or S2 or in Scopus. But if you think that your article, I mean, I'll have, a medium quality, you can submit in Sinta 3 or Sinta 4. But if you think that your article is still low, please submit in Sinta 5 or Sinta 6. Next article. Next slide, please. Okay, if you want to submit your journal in international journal, I mean reputable journal, so you can search in Schemago. So Schemago will help you to find out the journal which is appropriate for you in international scope. All the journals are included in Schemago. Of course, they have a Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So you can search. Of course, the Q1 is the highest quality, but it's so difficult to be accepted there. So I have given a choice for the national and international journal. So it depends on you whether you want to publish in national or in international journal. But if there is a journal only Scopus, but it is not included in Schemago, you can also try that. Next slide, please. Okay, so after you read the article, you found the appropriate journal for your article, so you meet the submission system requirements of the journal itself. You follow the template of the journal and word count. Actually general, so Indonesia or in the world, the word count can be start from the 4,000 until 7,000. So you have to think about that. And of course, the fee, because it's not all the journals in Indonesia or in the world free of charge. Tidak semuanya gratis. Kebanyakan yang gratis itu adalah jurnal dari Kementerian Agama. Itu banyak yang gratis. But for the Kemenristek itu ada kebanyakan berbayar. Atau Kemendikbud itu kebanyakan berbayar. Start from 200 to 200,000, 200,000 and over. The next slide, please.
Okay, Mister.
Next slide. Okay. Okay, and after that, you can submit on OJS. Okay, the time is over. Next slide, please. Okay, here it is Sinta, is OJS 3, and here it is OJS 2. So you can submit. It's very easy. You can start from here. You upload the submission, you enter your identity, your confirmation, with the confirmation, after that, you finish the submission. Next slide, please. Okay, after you submit, of course, you wait until 2 weeks or 6 weeks to know the editor decision, even 2 or 3 months for the Scopus. If there is not information after waiting for 1 or 2 months, so you can email the journal editor. So you have to be active in here. Next. This is the last slide, Okay, the last slide. So the publication ethics. As author, we have to consider about this. Make sure that this is original article. Don't publish a paper that has been published. Jangan menerbitkan artikel yang sudah dipublish. Dan yang kemudian yang ketiga adalah do not submit the same paper into 2 or more journal at the same time. As the beginner of the, author, sometimes they think that they are doubt whether the article accepted or not in the certain journal. So they submit the journal in the article in another journal with the same time. So it cannot be. So it is prohibited. So I think that's all for my short presentation. If you have a question, you can ask Mbak Google. Sorry, just kidding. Okay, thank you very much. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for very warm closing, Mr. Okay, this is the time for question and answer session. For all of the participants who are watching us live on YouTube, welcome. And thank you for the available time. So now for the participant who have a question, you may type the question on the chat group. We give you time to type it if you have a question and wish to ask the speaker, and I'm going to read it and I will address it to the speaker. Is there any question right now? Okay. We are waiting for the question. We give 2 questions for the first participants who wants to ask. 2 questions for the first section. Yeah. Okay. Once more, for the participants, it's time for you to ask the speaker. Our speaker today, Dr. Syafryadin, MPD, has talked to us about how to publish a paper into a journal. And it's very clear explanation from the abstract until reference and what we are going to do after we finish writing. So everyone, our participant who have a question related to the topic discussed by Mr. Aydin, you may ask to the speaker. Okay, is there any question for our speaker in section 1? I invite 4 participants who wants to give questions.
Is it clear?
Okay, last, once more. Is there any question? Questions? Okay. All right. We have a question from our participant this morning for Mr. Syafryadin.
Okay.
Okay, a question. Let me read a question from Muhammad Agung. Okay, Muhammad Agung. The question is about how do we identify the key rank of a journal, and would you please recommend the best journal in education, especially developing media in language teaching? From Muhammad Agung, Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar. Yes, please, Mr. Aydin and Mr. Syafryadin.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the questions. How we identify the rank of the journal? So in Schemago and in Sinta, okay, in Schemago and Sinta, you just click the Sinta.brain.go.id that I have shared to you. You just click Sinta 1 and Sinta 2. You can search. There are so many lists of the journal, so you can try to find out or the appropriate journal for you. For in Schemago, of course, you just type English journal, for example, the keyword. So there will be the rank of the journal itself. Okay, for the journal for technology, okay, for the journal of the technology, you, I mean English, what is English media, yeah? Bunda Siti? So, Bunda Siti, English media. So I think, so what is the last statement? The journal recommendation for?
Yes, for recommendation, the best journal in education. Specifically,
In education.
yeah, developing media in language teaching.
Developing media in language teaching. So,
All right.
in developing media in language teaching, there is a Q2, the journal of, in terms of English education. You can try to submit your article in IJAT, International Journal of Emerging Technology. It's about the technology because it's not all the journals in education have the scope in terms of technology in teaching and learning. But actually, you can try also in Scopus. The journal is TWT. Okay, TWT, you can TWT, I mean TWT. You can also try to submit the journal there, or you can submit your article in Journal of Language Education. So it's also about the media. The scope is the media. So it's like that. If you are so, if you want to, so if you want to submit your article, you can submit in 3 journals. So it's about the technology. So you have to find out by yourself in Skimago and in Sinta. Sinta 1 or IJAL. In IJAL, okay, in IJAL, Indonesian Applied Journal of Applied Linguistics, it's also very reputable journal. You can submit in IJAL because in IJAL there is also the scope is also about the technology in ELT. So IJAL is also very reputable journal because IJAL is in Scopus also and Q2 and Sinta 1. So you can submit there. Or IJAT in Q2. If you want to more, I think you can email me. I give you the link of the journal itself. I can give the link, the journal itself, if the participant who wants to the journal recommendation from me. I give the link if they chat me or send the email to me. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for our speaker today, Dr. Syafryadin, MPD. Because the time is very limited for all of the participants. If you have a question, maybe you can